Welcome to the daily whatever. Uh-oh. Oh
There's
no.
Michelle. There's Michelle. She just joined, so now we can
Oh,
invite her.
okay. I have a note that Michelle has been at the vet.
Oh,
So
she's
I
at
don't
the
think she
vet.
can join.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Michelle, I hope everything's
Oh,
okay.
honey. I feel this so hard. My dog is at the vet right now, post-surgery. Oh no. I hope everything is okay. I'm just reading. Okay, yeah. Honey, don't worry about it. We will reschedule this. The baby's fur and otherwise always come first.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm so glad that you're here at least as a guest. For as long as you can stay. Don't worry about staying past that. Excuse me. Y'all, this cold is now a week long.
That
This
disaster. I hate it.
I I hate it. Oh, it was your dog that had surgery? Yeah. Um, my it was planned surgery though. My dog, I didn't know dogs could do this, but she somehow managed to tear her ACL. And so she's been like intermittently limping for a while. And anyways, they told me back in January that she'd need surgery, and we had a couple of family trips planned, and recovery is like 3 months. So,
Yeah,
um,
that's crazy.
yeah, so I had to wait till I got the family got back from Dublin. So yeah, she went in yesterday and she's all like, "Who are all of you?" But she could tell something was up. She was kind of doing her little doggy shakes. But she came through the surgery just fine, and it was a complete tear, Lawrence. It was they thought it was partial when they looked at her in January, but it was a completely torn ACL. So I
Poor
guess
puppy.
I know. I guess after all this is done, she'll be like a whole new dog. I mean, I liked the old dog too, but like in terms of
Why do
how
I hear Princess Jasmine? She's a whole new dog.
yes, exactly. Something like that. She'll be singing and her
Nobody.
hair will be
Disney.
flowing.
Right.
Um,
Riding a magic carpet.
yes. Although doesn't Aladdin sing that song, not Jasmine? I haven't actually seen Aladdin, believe it or
It's a
not.
duet. It's a duet. It's
Right,
the
but is it
classic "We're Falling in Love" duet while riding a magic carpet.
I feel like it's mostly him, but I can't picture the female vocal on that song.
Oh
I'm
God, no!
very
All I really remember is the female vocal. It's like her being awakened to a whole new world because this roguish, lovable, handsome scamp has flown to her window on a magic carpet.
oh, and so that's a very funny way of saying your internet is out.
Syphilitic little toad.
The phonetic
Uh,
little toad is perfect.
if you haven't read Fusen's poem that she posted today, it's fucking fantastic. It's not a limerick, but it is just like a rollicking sea shanty.
Really,
Yes, it's quite fun.
I have not read that one yet because I am still waking up. I will need to go read that. I read the one about the goat's head. And wow, that was lyrical. It was lovely.
Yes.
I am so excited. So we're gonna be winging it today, Lawrence. It's just us. I'm still like halfway borked out on last night's NyQuil. Ask me anything.
Good morning,
I'm kidding,
Henrik.
but no.
We've got so many awesome folks in the audience. Like it
I
is just
know.
such a joy to like start this and see Robin joins and Kat joins and Sarah joins and
I know. It's like
Karen and Fusen and like it's just awesome.
it's
So
amazing. I freaking love it. I'm trying to figure out how to to join here on my
Robin is offering to be a drop-in.
oh my gosh, come on. Yeah, we can invite you. Oh, here's our thing. I'm just trying to
It'll be all improv, Robin. We're literally winging it.
I'm gonna add you right now. How do I do that? I think I do that here. Nope. Um, are you sure? Oh, it's because I opened my big screen in our let me brush my bird's nest first. I didn't have a chance to, Robin, because I was like, shit, it's 7. Um, oh, there's how you add other people.
But let her brush her hair first. Give her
I
a minute.
know. Well,
Give
the
her a
invite
minute.
stands. I think there we go. I had to close out on the message about Michelle not being available. Okay, here we go. Y'all, it's always a barrel of laughs and spontaneous excitement here on the Daily Whatever. Robin, invite. Okay. I would say, you could come with your, just
Right, come as you are. Is that what you
come
were
as
going
you
to
are.
say?
Yeah, that is kind of what I'm saying. Um, Lawrence, this is week one of you for work too. So I think a lot of folks on this call are regulars and know that after 10 months of
10
no
long
job,
months of wandering through the desert.
yes, that
And
you,
we were going to talk about poverty dishes
yes,
with Michelle today anyway, and I feel like we still could because especially my last like 3 months has been absolute poverty dishes. Like how many
okay.
servings of black eyed peas and rice can I possibly make to live off of?
Is black eyed peas and rice your go to? This is something, so Michelle, as you all know, writes both about, uh, I would say, how to stretch your dollars, but and then also politically, um, how you're being disempowered if you are poor and speaking truth to power. So it's kind of a she alternates between these amazing political missives and here's a way to make sourdough bread from scratch, um, which I think those are a perfect balance, this perfect duality. So one of the things we were going to talk about with Michelle that Lawrence is alluding to is like, what are your go-to poverty recipes is what I call them. When I'm feeling broke, like I have my things I make. So yours is black eyed peas, Lawrence. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love black eyed peas.
Yeah.
I always make them for New Year's. You know this.
Yes.
I'm of the school that your New Year's Day food is black eyed peas with a little bit of rice. Some people call it Hop and John. I'm way more black eyed pea than rice focused. Collard greens and cornbread. Like that's my mom is from the South. Well, technically she's from Texas, from around Dallas.
Texas is the
She
South, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Texas
Just
is in
Texas.
the South, but it's not of the South. Texas is its
Yeah,
own thing.
it is. That's true.
Texas, Texas traditions can be different from the South or the same depending. Um, but her family is definitely the black eyed peas, collard greens, cornbread kind of
Yeah.
thing. So I've always done that. Dana, I know you make lentils for New Year's Eve, New
I
Year's Day.
do, and it is also my poverty food. Um, I think lentils must be a Spanish New Year's tradition. I confession have never made black eyed peas. Lawrence, do you make them from scratch? Do you make them from a can? How do you do them up?
Uh, Not from a can. Damon asked, no ham hock. No, absolutely ham hock. Preferably ham hock and not just like a ham steak or something, because you got to get that all the juicy marrow out of the bone. Um, yeah, no, black eyed peas for me is the dried peas. You wash and rinse them, and then you soak them, and then
Yeah.
cook them with a ham hock and various spices. For me, I make the rice separate, and I mean that's the Hop and John piece, right? Serving the peas over the rice,
Yes.
and then collard greens. Like there's nothing better in this world than collard greens, but you have to cook them properly for a really long time.
So
Um,
maybe I've never had them cooked properly because that's like there aren't very many foods I still don't like as an adult, especially vegetables. I love all the leafy greens. I loathe collard greens. They're just bitter and I don't like them.
how
So I
have you
just
never had mine? My collard greens are not bitter, my friend. I know how to cook them correctly.
really okay. Well, I don't know
Yeah,
how that's ever happened.
yeah. Uh, I mean, properly cooked collards are not bitter at all.
Okay.
And they should have a little vinegar and sweet and salty kick to them. Um, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
I would give them another chance. I've seen there's like a Dallas meetup, I think, happening here in our chat,
you're
which
totally.
is amazing. Sarah, you have that your struggle food growing up was hot dog soup. Explain. What is hot dog soup?
I'm kind of hoping that it's just like a Nor's chicken bouillon cube crushed up and served with chunks of hot dog. Oh my
Yeah,
God, yes. Brussels sprouts with bacon and cheese, absolutely. Sign me up, and a drizzle of balsamic vinegar on top.
that sounds good. Hot dog soup is an atrocity. Is
Look
it
who
like
it
the bake?
is. with
I picked.
bacon and cheese.
Oh, hey, Robin.
Yeah, and a drizzle of balsamic vinegar on top.
Robin, thanks for jumping in.
Is it like the big?
Oh, thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, of course.
Absolutely.
Your hair looks amazing.
Here's where my brain was at. So I've got a little arm thing that I hold the phone up with, and I was trying to attach the phone side to clip onto the furniture.
Yep.
That sounds about right.
I was trying that for like a minute. I'm like, why isn't this working? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Michelle. So, Mr. Joe, for those of you who are just joining, Michelle's dog is at the vet because he fell. And that is why we have lovely Robin pinch hitting today, just being like, put me in, coach, I'm ready, which I love.
Put me in, coach.
And it sounds like Mr. Joe is getting x-rays. I hope he's okay, Michelle. I'm sorry. In my experience, having just paid a very big vet bill yesterday, this is not a good way to stretch your dollar. This is a good way to make sure you will not be stretching dollars and will be eating poverty food recipes, which is what we're talking about right now. Michelle, we are all prepared to share ours with Michelle because she has loads of great stories about how to make amazing meals for very little money. And Sarah, I'm seeing hot dog soup is sliced hot dogs, cream of mushroom soup, and corn. And you're right, that sounds hard. I mean, if hungry, I get it, but wow, that's what did you call it? An atrocity? I think you called it an atrocity up earlier in the chat.
So part of what I love here is Karen has jumped in and said, Tobin, she has a bone to pick with you. Robin, I'm guessing maybe that you're Tobin. Do you have an alternate personality that starts with T instead of R? Tobin.
I have many alternatives.
Well, they're all welcome here. And I think, Karen, tell us, what is the bone to pick with Robin? It sounds so we're gonna stir up some shit here today on the Daily Whatever.
Okay, we'll wait for Karen. While we're waiting for Karen to weigh in, Robin, are you a cook? I don't want to put you on the spot if you're not.
Yeah.
But when you are trying to stretch a dollar, what are your favorite go-to, like, healthy-ish at least, but very frugal recipes that you like to make?
Definitely rice and beans is always a go-to. I lived in Mexico for over 10 years.
Yes.
That's definitely go-to. Also bean salad with whatever the cheapest veggie you can find is. Like carrots are generally an easy go-to.
Yes, like a dense bean salad, the stuff that all the kids are. Yes. Okay. Oh, I'm doing that thing again where I'm looking at the big screen and I'm seeing Robin talking, and I was about to say I don't hear you, but it's because it's delayed like 5 seconds. I'm still getting used to having the chat on in 2 spots.
I think so. I'm gluten-free. I've got celiac, so I can't have gluten. So
yeah,
going poverty meals can be a little more challenging because a lot of the cheap ingredients are filled with gluten because it is cheap.
Yes.
So you got to kind of really figure it out.
Yes, I don't have celiacs, but I'm supposed to avoid gluten as well. That is has been the gift of perimenopause and then menopause for me is dairy, gluten, and egg all are triggers for me, which means like all food. Yeah, I know it's dumb. But gluten is the one that I think is I cheat more for cheese and eggs than I do for gluten. It's not celiacs, so I'm able to do that. But boy, the joints hurt and the dizziness gets worse if I eat that stuff. So I hear you, and you can't just boil a pot of noodles and add a little sauce. It's harder to make poverty food. My kids are obsessed with dense bean salads, which are like a whole internet phenomenon right now. The problem is they like ones with like steak and mozzarella balls in it, so it's not an inexpensive meal. Although it is a good way to stretch one steak for like a week's worth of lunches. So I still feel like it's worth sharing as a like maybe not poverty food, but it's a lot cheaper than eating out and it feels fancy food.
Have you noticed that, like, I'm gonna pretend maybe to channel Michelle here for a second. and make this political, but have you
Okay.
noticed with celiac that if you have to skew poverty food, it's really hard to avoid gluten, right? Like some
Right.
of the cheapest foods available are, are packed with gluten, and so it's extra hard if you're really scrimping to find something that you can eat.
Yeah. Yeah, it is because you can't have ramen, you can't have normal bread. Like there is gluten-free bread, but it's really expensive.
Expensive.
So
So
if
expensive.
scrimping, you're not getting any gluten-free products. You're just getting naturally gluten-free things. So rice is the best gluten-free go-to on a budget.
Right.
And thankfully rice is super versatile. Like you can make so many different things out of it.
Agreed.
Yeah,
My,
for sure.
my favorite rice topper, or eat it as a soup when I'm like, if I'm really feeling like, okay, I'm broken, I need to make do with what I have, it's always lentils, either red or brown. And I've been trying to teach my kids since they were very little of like a splash of oil and a little onion and garlic to start, and you can pretty much make most things taste okay. So starting with that, and then whatever's in the fridge that needs to be cooked, usually carrots and celery if I have, or if there's leftover spinach or whatever's in there, corn from the freezer, dump it in, a couple potatoes if I have those,
I
and
think
then lentils and some spices, and like a dollar bag of lentils makes a vat of like high protein soup. One daughter loves them. The other daughter doesn't like lentils very much. She'll eat the red ones, but those I tend to make more into a curry. So that's a little bit, that costs a few more dollars to make a pot.
a one thing I make when I'm on a serious budget is banana pancakes.
Mm,
I can't have the gluten, but if you just mash up or blend up bananas with a cup with it's like two other ingredients, you can make banana pancakes, and that's so bananas are generally like the cheapest fruit to buy.
Sure.
yeah.
55 cents at the grocery store yesterday for non-organic bananas. Well, per pound. But yeah, I absolutely stocked up because I was like, oh, yay, potassium and perfect. Yes, I'll have several bunches. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes, they're always
and
in my freezer to make bread with.
maybe not so much lately, but eggs are usually a good go-to if you like when you get sick of beans. You can get those quite cheap, and you don't need a lot of them to make a meal, but you can
Yeah.
do a lot with eggs too.
I don't know if everyone else has noticed. Maybe this is just in Indiana, but like the basic eggs,
Mhm.
not the organic or pasture raised or whatever, but like just the grocery store brand bottom shelf eggs are not terribly expensive right now. It's just like as soon as you start going up in quality, that they become like $9 a dozen or something. So
Yeah.
if you can eat crappy eggs, you can still do something for kind of cheap.
Yeah, I really love to eat like free range, the chicken went to college
Right, right.
type of
Right.
eggs, but
Yeah. Its
I
name was Henry.
I always yeah, it's got a backstory.
Right.
Um, but I always just eat the cheap eggs. Like I'm never on the budget where I can buy free range, organic, blah blah blah.
Same.
Where's the money for that? Especially these days. Like I'm a really good shopper because I know how to cook, and I think knowing how to cook during frugal times is so important because the ways that
Yes.
you can duck and dive while still staying relatively healthy, um, it's so important. And I think it is becoming somewhat of a lost art um, these days with just the availability of Uber Eats and all the quick things that people aren't learning to cook anymore. But it is such a valuable skill, and it is one of the most fruitful and important skills to know during
100%.
election times.
I'm gonna click the heart a bunch of times, Robin. I always tell my kids this, that I'm like, if you leave my home and you don't know how to make yourself at least 4 or 5 things to eat, like it, because we all have like our weird things we make at home that like maybe you wouldn't cook when there's company unless they knew you really well, but you're like, I just like to eat, sauteed zucchini over rice and I'm pretty happy, or whatever it is. If you don't have
Oh no. Did we lose Dana? Robin, it's just you and me. We got to carry the show.
We'll hold down the fort.
We'll hold down the fort. So I think where Dana was going is one of the things that I used to make, like right out of college when I was just absolutely super broke, was I would take pasta and the cheapest tuna fish I could find and a couple of tablespoons of mayonnaise and a sprinkle of ranch dressing, the powdered ranch dressing stuff, and just mix it all up. And like that was it's got a starch, it's got a protein, it's cheap. I can't tell you how many times I made that as I was like struggling right after college paying student loans.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll do it. I think I think some of the options out there, you can get really creative, and the creativity can go well or it can go poorly.
Mm.
Like, some of the things I've seen people make are like, why would you make that? Like, you can make something more delicious. Like,
Right, right.
like I saw people make like or have like just beans. I was like, beans are great. Beans are a tool, but you don't have to have just beans. You can throw some other things in there to spice it up a little. Um, and spices are dirt cheap. Like, if you
Yeah,
don't have the money, invest in a couple of your favorite spices because you can get a whole ton of them for a couple bucks, and they
absolutely.
last a long time.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Dana's phone is super dead. And we're having volunteers from the audience. Here's the crappy thing, folks. Dana owns this live, and so I don't have the ability to invite anybody else on. And Robin, I don't think you do either, probably.
You know?
So I would love to invite more people on. That would be incredible, but I literally don't have the button right here on my phone to do it. So, oh, friends, keep chatting in the chat because Robin, I don't know if you're seeing this. We're getting some amazing recipes kind of flowing through in the chat. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at them without spending too much time not looking at the camera.
Right, hostile takeover. Susan, if it was you joining, it would not be hostile at all. It would be super fun. Yeah. Honestly, I have so many feature requests for Substack about lives. Like, can we do them from our computer? Can we have more than 3 people? Can everyone have the invite button?
Oh, doing them from the computer would be perfect because it's much easier to keep track of the live and to type it in.
Totally.
You can't do shit on your phone.
Right. I think Fusen is threatening us. It could be pretty hostile. She has a devilish bitch face today. Well, we would love to see it. Now you need to take a photo, and I don't think you can post photos in the chat, but we definitely need to see that devilish bitch face. So, what's going on, Robin? What's the haps?
Oh, not much. Just living life. I've got a meeting with somebody from Medium today. Somebody from their user experience research team, so I get to give some feedback on how things are going. That should be interesting.
That's kind of exciting. Do you have a garden? I'm curious. We're doing all this talk about food, and I love knowing if people have gardens.
I have a basic garden. I tend to be kind of lazy about it. Like, I'll just like regrow things that I bought in the store, or like I bought like a potted basil plant. You can buy them in the grocery stores, and I just planted that. I bought hydroponic lettuce, and I just replanted that. I'm not a good gardener, but I like having a few things around. And then I've got green onions because they're perennial and they just pop back every year, and you don't have to do anything. They grow like a weed. They're fantastic to have around.
Yeah.
But I'm not a gardener at all.
You're kind of like a renegade gardener, though, like a recycling gardener,
Lazy bitch gardener, sure.
Like the take the avocado seed and sprout it in a glass of water with the 3 toothpicks sticking out of it, and then plant it in the dream that you would actually get avocados one day.
I mean, getting an avocado tree to grow in Canada would be interesting.
Right. Yeah, I guess Dana and I grew up in South Florida. And so that was the thing. Like, literally everybody I know did that in South Florida because you could, in theory, one day have an avocado tree.
Yeah, I think if I lived in a warmer climate where it was warm all year round, I might invest more in the gardening. But like, Canadian gardeners, they have chutzpah like you've never seen, because they'll work super hard for the first couple months of the spring to try and get their garden going, and then it'll finally bloom in like July. They'll have July and August, a little bit of September, and then it dies and they have to start all again. So they only get a couple months of their garden actually being the way they want it to be. So but they do all of this work and year-round planning. If you're a gardener in Canada, kudos to you, because the work you put in for the payoff is wild.
Yeah. When I was young and optimistic, I had this dream that I would like buy a piece of land somewhere in Washington State, because I still love Washington State, and like build a greenhouse. And my dream was that like I would grow my own cocoa and I would grow my own coffee beans. I realize how insane and unrealistic that is, because there are just some things that don't grow at certain latitudes. But man, that I was like, I'm gonna grow my own vanilla beans. I'm gonna harvest my own vanilla beans and make like the most boutique bespoke chocolate you've ever tasted.
Well, while we're dreaming, I want to grow a unicorn.
Can you? Do you know how to? Do you have a unicorn seed? What do we?
Uh, my plan is just to get a horse and then strap a rainbow dildo to its head.
Oh my God! Yes, I love it. Please do that, and that can just be our mascot. The Substack mascot, whatever community we're all building here, it'll be the rainbow dildo unicorn tribe. People who are joining right now are like, what the fuck did I just walk in on? Oh my gosh. What? So
I like Fusen's comment. Actually, hostile takeover medium, and I'll go with you. And the owner will go all mean girls and be like, "She doesn't even go here."
she doesn't even go here.
I love that line.
That's so good. Dana's saying, did Dana dye her hair? What am I missing? I've got to catch up on this. Sarah's been growing her own stevia for sweetening her coffee. Oh my God, that's incredible.
I don't even know what a stevia plant would look like.
I mean, Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong. It looks a little bit like mint, I think. Like it just looks like kind of a green variegated leaf plant.
In my mind, it's a white powder that looks like cocaine.
right. Yeah, like it's a plant that has a bloom, and then when it opens up, it's just like white powder on the inside of this bloom, like a big poppy opens up, and inside it's just this mound of white powder. You've got to collect it before it rains, though, and get there before the bees do, because they will sting you to death for that stuff. Sprouts in the kitchen. Karen, now you need to elaborate on that. Oh, but you have to bleach it to get it white, which is why. That's amazing. Okay, so apparently homegrown stevia is not white. What is it? Green? Is it brown? Now I'm super curious.
I don't know.
Robin, what are you working on right now? What's your latest article?
I'm working on one about a 28,000-year-old dildo.
Oh my God, are you allowed to give us sneak peeks of funny tidbits from that?
It's just about how humans have been feral fornicators and masturbating monkeys since the dawn of time, and like as you go back through history, they've found all these dildoian artifacts, like all across Eurasia, going back like 30,000 years, and as of like 13,000 to 19,000 years ago, because carbon dating is hard. They've even found double-ended dildos, which I found really interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
We've been kinky for a long time.
and of course, the 28,000-year-old dildo was found in Germany. Of course, it was the Germans.
Of course, it was the Germans. Right. They like to pretend they're all proper and buttoned up, but secretly they're kinky as fuck underneath all of that.
Oh, they are kinky. Have you not seen German porn?
No, Robin. I've never seen any porn. I'm very innocent.
Really, I finished it.
I've seen German porn, and I've been to Berlin, so I do kind of know about those Germans.
John Pierce just walked in and said this needed a health warning.
Right. Join at your own peril. I had to turn down the volume before Mrs. Pierce heard this. Sorry about that, John. But yeah, well, this is what you get when you join the Daily Whatever. Anything could happen. Dana could lose her phone connectivity. Robin could jump in from the crowd. All kinds of crazy stuff could happen. Surprise! It's actually funny the way that happened, right? You volunteered to join, and then Dana lost her phone. Imagine if you hadn't, and I was just here by myself with the inability to uh, get anybody else to join. That would be absolutely tragic. Oh my
You just
gosh.
camping.
Right. I'd just be riffing off of the chat, basically. Oh my God. Well, I love this. I can't wait until the article comes out because I want to hear about, 13,000-year-old dildos, double-headed dildos.
Well, you can read all about the ancient dong Saturday, maybe.
Nice. The ancient dong. It kind of reminds me, this is totally going on a tangent now, but as a young gay coming up, I was very fascinated by Alexander the Great and just this idea that the first dude to conquer the world did it with his boyfriend at his side. Basically, it was like Alexander and Hephaestion, and they were lovers, and they had wives because they were supposed to have wives to procreate, but they were lovers and they
Weird.
conquered the world together. And I was like, and then they're like the sacred band of Thebes, the 300 top bottom sword shield guys that fought back in ancient Thebes. And apparently there was some crazy shit that happened on the battlefield after the victory had been won. It was basically like, let's have an orgy and fuck. I'm guessing that maybe those 13,000-year-old dildos might be from there.
Yeah. Humanity hasn't evolved as much as we think. I think a lot of the things that we're doing now, we've been doing for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think many of the things, all of the kinky things we can think of now, the human brain has been able to think of those things for a very, very long time.
Yeah, we were apparently dildoing ourselves before we invented fire.
Priorities, right? I mean, someone was there dildoing themselves. What'd be great would be if I was warm and dry while I was doing this. That would be amazing. Let's invent fire. Okay.
What if I didn't have to heat myself up doing this? What if I could warm up from something else?
Yeah, but then you're sitting by the fire and you're like, but I kind of missed the other thing. That was fun too. What if I could do both at the same time?
So what I've been wondering writing this article is that a lot of the research has been looking at the female sexuality side of finding these archaic dong.
Yeah.
But I wonder if men were using them as well, or if they could be mainly men and not the early female empowerment like we thought. They don't really have any way to know. All they know is that they're very polished, denoting that they were well used.
Oh my God, Robin, this just keeps getting better. They're very polished. Well, also, I'd imagine that maybe if you had gotten hooked on Dildonics, back in the day, and you didn't have anything else to do, you might polish your dildo for a while because you're like, I don't want any splinters. That's the worst bone splinter in the world,
Yeah. Peter says this was meant to be about budget food, John.
Right. We were going to talk about poverty food, which we did for like 5 minutes. And then, Robin brought up early Dildonics and suddenly everything changed. Polish it. I don't know. I'm guessing you get like a deer hide and you're just kind of like sitting there. Maybe that's how they found fire, like they were polishing their dildo and it caught fire and they were like, oh my God, this is amazing. No, my favorite dildo.
But also this fire is cool.
Right. Oh my God. I'm literally not I love that the comments are flying fast and they're so fast and furious that like talking to you and trying to read the comments at the same time is insane.
Yeah. Dana likes that you're keeping this PG, Lawrence.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's I'm actually practicing for when Fusuna and I do Dirty Talk tomorrow at 11, which is going to be the so opposite of PG that I'm a little bit worried that our regular audience will join and absolutely freak out when they hear some of the stuff that's going to come out of my mouth. We're going to talk about everything, kids. Mr. John Pierce, maybe don't join that one if your wife is around because we're gonna say some things. Oh, now we're getting into the finer points of woodworking and how to polish things. This is pretty great. Oh my goodness. So what do you think of the whole Trump plane thing, Robin? Have you seen the whole he's being gifted a $400 million jumbo jet from Qatar?
Yeah,
Surely you have thoughts.
and I saw that there's even a bidet on this new plane that'll become Air Force One. So now he can have his ass kissed on the ground and in Air Force One.
Oh, da-dum-da. Yes, brilliant. Yeah, my favorite part of the whole thing is that he says it's not a gift, but he gets to keep it after he leaves office, and it's only going to cost us maybe
$1 billion.
right $1 billion to like retrofit it into actually being Air Force One. Yeah, like but we need to cut Medicaid, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, taking a $400 bajillion gift from Middle Eastern royal family that funds terrorism and stuff, like, what could go wrong?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure they won't want anything in return. People love just giving people gigantic free planes with no quid pro quo.
Right, absolutely. Yes, I'm sure there won't be any kind of expectation around getting something for nothing. Totally. Yeah, the whole thing is just absolutely farcical. I've said this before. I think there's absolutely like a corollary to Occam's razor with Trump. Trump's razor is like the dumbest explanation is always right. Like the most ridiculous explanation is always the actual thing that's going on.
Yeah. I like the comments about how people are agreeing with people on the other side of the spectrum that they never thought they would, like Rand Paul. At least this whole plane thing is bringing the two sides together. That's rare. And they're actually agreeing on something that it's ludicrous that he's accepting this gigantic gift.
Yeah. Yesterday Josh Hawley was like quoted as pushing back against Trump. So Josh Hawley is this incredibly Republican douchebag senator from Missouri, and he was like pushing back against Trump and like saying Trump hadn't kept his promises and pushing back against cuts to Medicaid. And I was like, what is happening? I agree with Josh Hawley on something. Why do I feel dirty? This is crazy.
No, see, I think that's wonderful though. I love seeing when both sides start to agree on something, because that's where you can actually make some headway. So if both sides are starting to agree on things, that's a jumping off point for change.
Absolutely.
So
yeah,
I think as shocking as it is to the personal psyche, it's pretty fantastic that both sides are seeing the same on certain things.
Yeah, no, it is truly great. And you're right. I mean, I saw that and had a moment of freak out, and then I was absolutely like, oh my God, if Josh Hawley is saying something sane, then maybe there's hope that we can keep Medicaid intact and push back on this stupid Air Force One thing, because it's just so ridiculous. Kat is saying in the chat she was so desperate she gave money to Liz Cheney. Same Kat. I was like, when Liz Cheney is the voice of reason, what is happening in the world? But I did. I threw her some cash and was basically like, if you started a sane party that was more about keeping the Constitution intact and not abortion or whatever, like sign me up. I'm all for a middle of the road party at this point. Anything that is keeping the Constitution, the founding document of this country and not whatever crazy bullshit Project 2025 wants us to do. Sign me up.
As you maybe it's because I'm Canadian, but I really don't get the animosity between the left and the right in the States. Like, the majority of people are fairly middle road. Maybe they have slightly different ideas how to get there, but most people want all the same things. Like, it's like that mini rant that Pete Buttigieg did on the Andrew Schultz podcast.
Yeah.
And he said, like, the average American just wants safety and security for their family. They want to go to a safe job with job security and healthcare, and they want to come home. They want to be able to feed their family without working 3 jobs. They want a country that supports them. And like, he's listing all the similarities, and it's true. There's more similarities than differences. So that's why I really like this bringing people together, because really people have a lot more in common than they do different.
Yeah, absolutely. I am as guilty as anyone of demonizing the right sometimes. I know that. But all, like, in my patriotic heart, all I really want is a reasonable opposition party. There was a time in the early 2000s. So in the lead up to the 2000 election, John McCain was running for the nomination against George W. Bush. And I voted for John McCain in the Washington state primary because I thought, okay, well, Gore's got it on the Democratic side. We had an open primary at the time, so I was allowed to vote in the Republican primary. And I thought, this George W. Bush guy sounds a little crazy, and John McCain is a total patriot. Like, I want to see a debate between John McCain and Al Gore. Like, I could have conceivably voted for John McCain in 2000 when he was, kind of fully in center mode. And it kind of breaks my heart that we're so far away from that now. It's been 25 years, and that seems like just inconceivable memory at this point.
Yeah. I think it was getting worse for a fairly sustained period of time, but then Trump just took it and ran with it. Like, he got elected off just being absolutely ludicrous and promising the world of things that he couldn't possibly deliver. And now he's just taken it to a dictatorship. So there might not be a next election, so.
Right. Yeah, the FBI and CIA might be watching us right now on this live stream and cataloging all of the names here. This Winterman guy, he's gay, he's Jewish, but he doesn't support Israel blindly. And yeah, no, I keep joking. I'm going to make a t-shirt that has, like, I've made this joke before, sorry, but like the yellow star and the pink triangle and a green clover for my Irish ancestry, and I don't know, purple moons and green diamonds or whatever the hell it was. And because I'm first on the trains, I'm sure when they get everything operationalized and actually start shoving people into the ovens, I'm the first to go.
The only train you'll be getting on is the new Underground Railroad up to my place.
Right. Absolutely. Yes. Knock wood. Please. Absolutely. The Underground Railroad to Canada. I did have a crazy dream the other night that I was on a high-speed rail going from Miami to Tallahassee, and the train was the Trump train. Like, talk about a dream, sort of. Not that I would ever be on the Trump train, but my God, where did that come from?
I won't tell you the I had the other day about Mark Carney.
Tell us. Now you have to. Did it involve 13,000-year-old dildos?
It didn't, but it was definitely romantically themed.
Yeah. I mean, look, let's face it. He's a handsome man.
He is a handsome.
He absolutely serving daddy, right? Like, good daddy. And, he's so calm and reasoned, but I'm pretty sure there's like a fire demon lover up under that suit,
And he's incredibly smart. He wields it well. He's also funny. Like, yeah. He got the name Big Daddy Carney in Canada by
nice.
Well, and I understand why.
Nice. Well, and he's got that voice, right? Like, he's got such a good voice. You could just totally imagine him being like, "Ooh, yes, just like that." And
Talk politics to me.
Right. Talk to me about economic policy, Mark. Right. Well, first we're going to raise your interest rate. And while we do that, we're going to, yeah, I don't know. I'm not smart enough with economics to be able to fake that long enough. The chat is absolutely going wild over here. Dana's, I'm jumping back. Purple moons for my t-shirt for my witchy side. Yes, that's totally true. Oh my.
Dana's like,
Dana
wait.
says she stepped away for a moment. Now we're fucking Carney. What is even happening? Look, Dana, your phone died, and you unleashed me and Robin paired up on the world together. We're having a whole improv yes and thing. What's next, Robin? What are we talking about next? Let's see. We've done ancient Diltonics, fucking Mark Carney.
The new Underground Railroad to Canada.
Yeah. Did you read Colson Whitehead's Underground Railroad, the novel that came out a couple of years ago?
No.
It was this great. What is even the word for this kind of fiction? It's sort of a bit magical realism, because in the book, so he's following a young slave girl in the Confederate South, but the Underground Railroad in his book is a literal railroad, right? Like you have to kind of find an entrance hatch to it and then climb down underground and get to the tunnel that is the Underground Railroad. And God, it was such a great book. It kind of did that thing where you're using magical realism to sort of hone and sharpen the horror of everything else that's happening in the book. It was great. Highly recommend. What have you read recently, Robin? Anything good?
I haven't read books since I joined Medium and now Substack.
Right. I gotta produce, people.
I read one. Well, I've read two in the last 3 years. I reread The Heart of Darkness because I found it at one of those little mini micro libraries, and it had been a long time. And then I read the Elton John biography that was done. It was really good.
Oh yeah,
but,
nice.
Yeah, other than that, I haven't really read books. I've been so busy, especially on Medium, where I'm a Boost nominator. I'm constantly reading so much stuff on there and then by the time I'm done reading, I have to do my writing and editing. And by the time I'm done all that, the last thing I want to do is read more.
Yeah, so I'm a bit weird. Like science fiction is such so my genre that I use science fiction reading as like a detox from everything else. Like even if my brain is full of other reading, I read science fiction to regulate and center.
Huh. Yeah, I do something similar, but again with Substack and Medium articles. If I do editing, and I do editing in a pub on Medium called New Writers Welcome, so it's a lot of brand new, fresh faces. Sometimes they're already pretty great. Sometimes they need quite a bit of hand holding, and sometimes it's so rough that it almost breaks your brain trying to read it. So then I have to keep these category of go-to people that I'll go read after, just to reorient my brain
right
to phenomenal writing again, because I can't go from editing something that breaks my brain into writing. I have to read something brilliant first.
I get that. There's definitely a gear shift that has to happen. Now we've pulled the chat into talking about classic books that they've read. This is kind of amazing, actually. We've covered all the territory.
We went from assy to classy.
Assy to classy. Right. Can we go back to assy again, or do we end on a high note? I don't. We don't know. There's 6 minutes left. Who can tell? Okay. What about TV shows? Do you watch anything for fun that helps you, regulate and center and disconnect?
I watch a ton of stand-up comedy.
Oh, nice.
I just surround myself in comedy. But then I've got some serious TV shows that I watch as well.
Oh, do you watch Hacks on HBO Max?
No, because we don't have HBO Max here.
Ugh. Okay, we got to figure out how to get you a password because Robin, you will love that show.
I've seen previews for it. What are your What's your favorite, like, top 2 favorite shows of all time?
Oh my God, of all time. I mean, I feel like by default I need to say so. Hacks is really so good that it probably is super high up on that list. I don't know if it's 1 or 2, but it
One's
is really,
a short list.
yeah, like it really is. It really is that good. Like, oh, Dana said The Good Place. Absolutely, The Good Place is on my list for sure.
What, the fourth?
Oof. Okay, so this doesn't make the top 2 or the top 5 or whatever, but a thing that I watch to decompress and kind of do a mind cleanse is I have watched literally every episode of RuPaul's Drag Race in the English language and probably some shows in every other language that they do. So I've seen the Philippines one and the Dutch one and the French one and the Italian one and the Spanish one. Yeah, so I RuPaul's Drag Race, I have literally from the beginning, like it's been on for like 20 years at this point, and I have seen every episode. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Is that a thing I should be proud of, or should I have Oh, Fusen loved the Dutch one. I love the Dutch one because they were just so snarky, and um, Fusen and I have been having this extended conversation about how the Dutch are just so blunt as to be mean, basically, and that was one of the things that I loved about the Dutch one is that like a Dutch drag queen reading another drag queen is really just literally talking to each other. Oh, Bridgerton, that's a great one. The Bridgerton is excellent. I did love that. Okay, I'm going to think about this and get back to you, Robin, because now you've really intrigued me. I feel like I should be able to name this off the top of my head. There are many shows that I kind of love in the moment. Oh, wait, okay. I know what is in my top 2, The West Wing. I don't know whether it's 1 or 2.
One.
Did you ever watch it?
I started watching it. I never finished the series.
Okay.
I
was crazy for The West Wing.
That's a good one. That's a good
Yeah.
one. I think a couple of my faves are. Do you ever see the show Fringe?
I didn't. Wasn't it kind of an X-Files knockoff thing?
So it was about fringe and pseudoscience. It was with Joshua Jackson, and then I always forget this guy's name. He's an Australian actor who plays Joshua Jackson's father, who's this absolute, like, sheer genius. But he's kind of like a mad scientist, and he's lost part of his brain. So he's just.
I have seen this.
And it's just hilarious. And Leonard Nimoy was in it.
Right.
Well, in fact, they had to turn one of his last scenes animated because he could no longer do it because of his illness.
Right.
So it's one of the last things Nimoy ever did, as well. But yeah, the whole show is just it's scientific-y, it's supernatural, but it's also got like different, like, alternate universes and Faraday cages and all of that.
Yeah, I did watch that. It was great. Yes, you are right. Okay, but talking about Nimoy reminded me, absolutely in my top list, Star Trek: The Next Generation. I'm such a Trekkie, whatever you want to call us. I mean, I love the original series, but Next Generation was sort of my, I don't know, it was right when I was in college, and it seemed revolutionary to me at the time, just like taking this old thing and making it new again. And I mean, Jean-Luc Picard, ugh, even at 80, he could get it.
I was like Wesley Crusher on there.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Will Wheaton. He's kind of created an entire like genre for himself of being like a Star Trek super fan. So a lot of the shows now, he does the commentary. He does like the like after show where he interviews the stars and like talks about what's coming up in the rest of the season. It's great.
Yeah. I saw an episode of Star Talk, which is Neil deGrasse Tyson's podcast.
Yeah.
and they had Will Wheaton on it, and Will Wheaton was talking about some of the things that he really got nitty gritty into the show. Like, for example, originally they didn't have doors that just opened, like when you waved, like when you were about to walk through, which didn't really exist at the time. Like, they didn't have that type of door back when they were making that movie. So he thought that when they did have to go through a regular door, like they were visiting a planet that had a door or whatever, his character would have to pause because he'd never not seen an automatically opening door. And he got into all these nitty gritties on the Star Talk podcast, and it was so nerdy and fantastic.
Oh my God, I love that. That is incredible. Well, that might be kind of a good note to wrap up. We did end on a high, right? Like, hooray us.
We went from dirty to classy to nerdy.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, Robin, thank you so much. I am so grateful that you were able to jump in and join. It was a blast getting to talk to you again. You, of course, are welcome back anytime here on the Daily Whatever. And honestly, everyone is welcome on the Daily Whatever. If you want to be on the show, reach out to me and Dana and let us know. And thanks, Robin. You're awesome.
Thanks everybody in the chat. You guys kept us laughing the whole time. That was great.
Absolutely. Yes. Like, huge thanks to our chat, as always. Once again, we need the chat saved with the video because it's so good. All right.
Yeah. Oh, I'll make that point in the next bestsellers chat that Substack has.
Please do.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. Like, surely we can't be the only ones who have such a dynamic chat room going on while we're talking, right? I mean,
no,
yeah.
and YouTube can do it. YouTube can save the chat for lives and show it as it runs. So I'm sure it's possible. But
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, my friend. Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thanks everybody for joining us. We love you. We mean it. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.